basement of La Penta. This is WICR.
All right, guys. Hi, I'm your host, Robert Boncardo, here on Lights Out Sports with my co-hosts, Armand Medeo and Terrence Taylor. All right, guys, we're going to talk some Iona men's college basketball right now. Gales the other day, getting to 23-6 on the season, 11-game winning streak, 16-2 in the MAC, winning the MAC regular season title. I mean, we had a big game this Friday versus Manhattan Jaspers. You know, we went a couple weeks ago to Dratty Gymnasium where Iona barely beat them 70-67. It's going to be a great matchup. What's the keys for Iona to win this game?
I think for the keys to this game specifically is when they played at Dratty Gymnasium, Iona had a nice comfortable lead in the first quarter, and they sort of went through a couple of ruts and allowed Manhattan to climb back in it. So they just got to stay consistent. They got to win the turnover battle. They had a lot of turnovers where Manhattan was running in transition for easy layups. Manhattan likes to score in the paint. They can't really shoot that well. They have that one guy named Richards who can shoot the three pretty good. But other than that, they're going to try and beat you down low in the paint, while Iona's, the other way around. They're going to try and beat you from the outside or drive to the paint. So, Iona's just got to play their game. I think this all is going to come down to, who, they're going to have to rebound and, defend the paint.
Yeah, it's...
No, I was just gonna agree with Armand too about the turnovers, because you hear that in games Iona has like 22 turnovers. So
yeah,
so I'll say the turnovers is basically the main thing. If they could just have less turnovers, like they can actually pull out with a comfortable lead, because you see that when they play, they can be up by 20 in the first half, and then the second half they're only up by 5. So that's actually a big problem too, is keeping the lead.
I think it'll be a little different though, because when you're playing Manhattan, that crowd's crazy. Like they're really crazy.
Yeah, I heard.
And it's a tough place to play. Even when we were doing the stand-ups, it was tough. They were in your ear the whole time. So here, I think if Iona's up in the first quarter, I think they won't they won't look away. Like they'll just keep going. You know what I'm saying?
They're going to have to break Manhattan's press. We saw when they played at Dratty Gymnasium, forcing 21 turnovers in that game. Iona really had a hard time getting the ball down court. They pulled out the win, but it was kind of back and forth where Iona would score, Iona would have a turnover, Manhattan would come back and score. They're really going to have to battle. David Lowry is going to have to be careful of his fouls. Was in foul trouble that whole game last game. But, I think it's going to be a great game this Friday. We have a great section. Maroon Maniacs. You know how the electrifying Iona is in the Heinz Athletic Center. It's going to be a great game. Down the stretch, though, we look at this team. Isaiah Williams coming back.
Yeah. He's
part of that big four for the team. He's going to put in some work. He's going to put up a lot of points. Do you think he's going to be really effective in his first game coming back versus Manhattan?
If he's ready to go, he should be. Why not? He's part of the. He's a guy who spaces the floor, hits threes, and a lot of teams, they're so preoccupied with, Cedric. I was about to say Shadrach, but I'm sorry. Cedric. They're so preoccupied with Cedric and Lowry and English, so sometimes teams forget about Isaiah, and Isaiah puts on points in a hurry. They might be silent, but he's putting those points up. So I think Isaiah is a big addition back in the lineup, and also. About the whole press situation, remember Kelvin got injured, and Kelvin's the other guy who brings the ball up with English. It sets the tone, and Cedric. So without Kelvin there, and then AJ had a couple fouls. They had to take AJ out too, because he had most of his foul calls were offensive, trying to break the press, so trying to shove the guy off. So you just gotta be careful with the fouls, and hopefully no injuries.
Okay, yeah, very true. It's gonna be a great game. Last home game of the year. Hopefully they pull that win out. Still have St. Peter's coming up, MAC tournament in a couple weeks. Hopefully we'll be seeing them in the big dance. Iona, last year we lost to Manhattan in the MAC championship, in the NCAA tournament the year before. And you know what? These guys deserve to be in the big dance. I think so far, the years we've been at school, this is the best we've seen out of them. And Coach Tim Kluse has just done an amazing job with this team. The team scores effectively. They work the ball. And, down the stretch, they're going to win this MAC tournament, and we're going to see them in the tournament, NCAA.
But you're right, though. This is the best, out of the 3 years that we've been here. The first year they won. The second year, I'm not sure. Did they win the MAC tournament?
Second year, they went to the NIT.
They went to the NIT.
They lost to Manhattan.
And then last year they lost. But, yeah, this year, though, I'm actually, I look at this team. They're so efficient. I actually feel confident that they can win the MAC tournament.
I
Actually,
do. I think this team's better than the freshman team they had. I mean, Sean Armand was a great player. I
Yeah,
mean, we
you're
had
right.
Momo. We had a couple good guys, but I think this team, I mean, Lowry's definitely, progressed his game.
and you see AJ English has a bigger role
AJ's just a
when we
lights
came in.
out scorer. I mean,
Since we came in our freshman year, like,
AJ hits big shots,
I
too.
mean, but we called it too. Actually, like AJ English is eventually going to be the heart and soul of this team.
Yeah.
We called it too, like, because we were like, oh, what's going to happen when all these players graduate? So
and then they
were
were
like,
fortunate enough to find a freshman who's just so comfortable on the
like-
court who can just shoot
yeah, like the
and
first
not
game,
worry
like,
about anything.
like the first game, what was it, against Manhattan College too, right? The first game.
Which one? Was Cedric?
Yes.
Where he dropped 40? Well, I don't know.
Twenty-
Was
he
that
did-
against Mahan? I don't know. No, it wasn't against Mahan.
No. It was against.
His
it was
first game against Mahan was in Grady.
Yeah, it was against Cleveland State. That was the first game, and like I was actually curious what he can do, and he actually like you really
Oh,
surprised
actually, no.
me
The
too.
game he dropped 40 was against Delaware State because I did the stand-up for that game. I
But yeah,
remember.
but he's a really good player though. He was actually like, cause you look and be like, oh, what's this 5'10" player gonna do? But he's a great player too. Like he's a great addition to Iona's team too, and I love it.
All right. Well, guys, all Iona fans, all fans in general, this Friday, February 27th at 7 o'clock, you can watch this game on ESPN2, Iona versus Manhattan. Be at the Heinz Athletic Center. It's the rivalry history game. Come on. This is the game of the year. Iona versus Manhattan. Manhattan wants to win this. Iona, you know what? Iona's going to win this. And you know what? Everybody, this is just going to be a great game. I'm your host, Robert Boncardo,
I'm Armand Madio.
I'm Terrence Tilly. Yeah.
and we're signing off.
You're listening to WICR.